What is up, my lovelies? I have found another writer tag because I am working to compile a comprehensive list of all of the writer tags. That is definitely why I'm doing it, and not because I like to talk about myself. Anyway, if you have seen some of these writer tags on YouTube and you're not sure which one you want to do or where you can basically find them all, probably on my channel. There's a playlist for that, just go check it out. So today's writer's tag, again, is just called a writer tag, so it doesn't have any special name. I don't know who was the original creator, but I found it via Kim Chance. I love her channel, go check her out. She's just so happy. She's a Disney princess, in case you're wondering. Okay, let's get to the questions. The number one question: what do you eat/drink while you are writing? I drink tea. I usually drink about half my cup of tea, and then get writing and forget it exists, and then I go to absentmindedly have a sip, and it is freezing cold, which is gross. I don't eat while I write, to the point where this is a problem, because if I really get writing, I will forget important things, like food, and then I will be done writing and I'll go to stand up, and I'll be like, whoa, I really need to eat some food before I pass out, and this is a problem. Number two, what do you listen to while you're writing? I've already answered this one, so I'll keep it brief. I listen to movie soundtracks and video game soundtracks. Nothing with words. Number three, what is your biggest writing distraction? The internet and television. I don't usually watch too much TV, but sometimes I put it on in the afternoon, and then if it's on, I get distracted by it more easily than I should. And I do find that I actually write better if I take periodic internet breaks where I allow myself to pop on the internet, see if anything interesting is going on, and then come right back off. If I keep it quick like that, I think it kind of helps me reset my brain if I may be getting stuck or maybe getting to a point where I'm like, I don't know what's next. Pop over here, pop on back, and then I can get back into my flow of writing. But internet, yes, if I let it, and TV are distractions for me. Number four, what is the worst thing that ever happened to you while you were writing? Well, we all know the horror stories. We've all experienced it. You've got your book on your computer, and all of a sudden your computer craps out, and you need to reformat it, and you lost all of your work. This is the reason that I am freaking paranoid. So now I have all my books saved on Dropbox, saved on 2 computers, and saved on 2 separate external hard drives, because I am not losing another book to the abyss. Fuck that. Number 5 is, what is the best thing that has ever happened to you while writing? I guess maybe when I just get on a really good flow and I'm really enjoying writing the story. I mean, there's not really a specific best thing. There's not a time where it's like, this is the best thing. But when I really get in my groove, it's really great. Number 6, who do you communicate with/not communicate with while writing? Well, while I'm actually writing, I don't communicate with anybody. Y'all can fuck off. My husband knows that when I'm writing, just to leave me alone. But I usually write when he's not home, so I don't have to worry about that. When I'm not actively writing, though, I love to talk to my husband because he is totally my sounding block for various ideas. He helps me come up with things. Especially, he helps me with my world building because I am really into characters, and sometimes I forget that the world needs to be built. And so he helps me figure out what's going on with the rest of the world and how I can bring it into my story. And also, he just helps me with my overall ideas, helps me come up with scenes, helps me figure out what to do with certain characters. Number 7, what is your secret to success and your biggest writer flaw? My secret to success? I don't feel I've been successful yet. Tenaciousness? I guess I set my teeth into this goal, and I'm not going to give up on it, because obviously I have been trying to be a writer my entire life, and I've got just a self-published book and many self-published short stories out there in the world, and a lot of fan fiction and so forth, but like, one day I want to write books that people will notice and people will really want to read. And I'm not there yet, but I have set my teeth into this, and I will not let go. I am like a snapping turtle, who don't have teeth, but they really hold on to things. And my biggest flaw? I have so many, but which is my biggest? Maybe my biggest flaw is the same as the thing that keeps me wanting to write. My biggest flaw may be that I care so much if people read my stuff, is I really do want people to read it. That is one of the reasons that I write. Not the only reason. If I was the last person on the planet, I would still write. But a big reason that I write is for people to read it. And if I didn't have that always hanging over me, if I didn't always have that wonder, are people actually going to want to read this? Because it really gives me, my biggest sense of self-doubt comes from that. When I should just be writing what I want to write and not doubting myself, I am constantly going, are people going to want to read this? Nobody's going to want to read this. Nobody wants to read what you have out now. Nobody is going to want to read what you are putting out later. So self-doubt is my biggest flaw that I really wish I didn't have to deal with. But a lot of writers do deal with it. You guys are probably all nodding your heads because it's so familiar. Number 8, what inspires you or makes you productive? What actually makes me the most productive is knowing people are reading. I was the most productive when I was writing my book-length fanfiction, The New Ways of Old Gods, because I knew I had readers who were eager for my next chapters, and I will crank out so many words if I know I have excited readers. If I know that I've got people who are maybe looking forward to my book, who think the idea is cool, who are definitely going to read it, holy cow does that make me excited. All it takes is just a few people, and I'm just like, yes, for you I will write to the moon and back. Number 9, what is one thing you or other writers do that is annoying? Oh, probably lots of things that I don't even realize. I think most people are annoyed because I'll bring up my book whenever I possibly can, and they're probably sick to death of it. You know, we'll just be talking about something and I'll be like, well, in my book, or well, this character did this, and they're probably like, oh my gosh, she's talking about a fucking book again. Somebody deflect her. Make her stop. So I think that's probably where I'm the most annoying, because I will not shut up. Clearly, because I keep doing these dang tags. Number 10, are you willing to share something you've written? Well, sure. I wonder what I should share with you guys. Oh, I had to clear off some space on my camera because it suddenly started telling me I only had 2 minutes left. So, that was fun. Anyway, I'd like to read you just a little bit from Boots, which is my current work in progress. I wanted to read you something from Diary of a Demon to keep the hype for that going, because I really should keep hyped for that. Then there's really, unless I just started at the beginning, there's really like no place for me to go with that one, because it's very, you really do have to start at the beginning to understand what's going on. So I just figured, we'll just Boots. We'll just do the first couple of paragraphs of Boots. Now keep in mind, this is my rough draft. This has not been edited yet. This is just the words as they came out of my brain. The cat had no idea how long he had been under the water. He felt the heavy burlap sack around him and clawed against it to no avail as the human boys held him in the river. When the cat managed to struggle his head above the surface for a few seconds, he could hear them laughing. Of course he had smelled the human scent when he had found the half-eaten fish on the riverbank. He hadn't thought anything of it. Humans were wasteful, and some of them even left bits of food out if they spotted him, because cats were good luck. These little humans didn't care one bit for good luck or bad. Instead, they had pounced on the unwary cat from behind a shrub, thrown a bag over him, and before he knew it, he was fighting for his life in the river. He yowled as loudly as he could whenever he was able to get a breath. He scratched at the boys and scored a few good hits, even through the burlap. But his strength was failing, and he was having a harder time scrabbling his way back to air for another choked breath and a fresh yell. One of the boys grabbed his head and pushed it under. The cat guessed that they had grown tired of being scratched and decided to end their cruel game in the only way they could, with a dead cat. As the cat released what he assumed would be his last gurgling breath, unable to see anything but the darkness inside of the bag, the grip of the hands around him changed. Instead of being pushed down under the fast-running waters of the river, the cat was lifted up and out. He hacked water from his lungs and scrambled wildly to be free of the bag before the boys decided what their next cruel game would be. He suspected it would involve rocks or sticks. He'd been around a few human children before, and they often relied heavily on rocks and sticks for entertainment. The cat was too busy struggling to realize that the hands which held him were not the small ones of the two boys, but the big, strong grip of a young man. The cat finally got a full gulp of air into his lungs and yelled at the top of his voice before lashing out at the human, whose voice joined his as claws met flesh through burlap. The cat was dropped to the ground, and he wasted no time slashing wildly at his soggy prison until he found the opening. He shot out into the bright sunlight and was away so fast he doubted the human even saw which direction he went. So there you go, that was the harrowing first few paragraphs of Boots. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you are psyched for Boots and for any of my other writing that interests you. Eventually I will need beta readers for it. I'll keep you informed. But that has been this writing tag. Cool? Cool. I'll see you guys again next time when I do whatever it is that I do. Bye!